So once we understand the turbojet engine working principle, this ramjet and scramjet engine also are the type of engines with the variants of jet engine. These are the variants of the jet engine with no rotary compressor and turbine. In this case, ramjet and the scramjet case, there is no turbine and compressor as in the regular jet engine. Okay, so the basic operating principle in ramjet and the scramjet involves converting kinetic energy of the incoming hypersonic or supersonic air into pressure energy. So when we say hypersonic or supersonic, is there any confusion what the meaning of hypersonic and supersonic? እነዚህ ሶኒክ የሚባሉ ቃላቶች አንዳንዶቻችሁ ባክግራውንዳችሁ ከሌላ ቦታ ስለሆነ any question on that?
No question from my side.
ሌሎቻችሁ those who come from electrical or some other department?
From my side, no. I'm familiar with this word.
Okay, so those the incoming hypersonic or supersonic air into pressure energy. So when we say hypersonic, when it is greater than Mach number 5 or Mach number 3. Actually, we have Mach number 1, that is we call transonic, and less than that, subsonic. And then after Mach number 1, we call hypersonic, and for the very higher Mach number, we call supersonic. So that are the technical words we use for, so it is related with the speed of sound. Mach number 1 means when the airplane or the vehicle which moving in the speed of sound, that means air speed divided by the speed of the speed of vehicle divided by sound speed. That is called Mach number. So if it is hypersonic, that indicates that Mach number greater than 1 means that 2, 3, 4. And then if it is more than a very big number, then it is supersonic. So that is the meaning, just to revise. So the air flowing at hypersonic speeds has very high dynamic pressure. Dynamic pressure means, you know, from the Bernoulli's equation of fluid flow, what Bernoulli's equation is, actually in fluid flow, we have total pressure P is equals to the static pressure P naught plus dynamic pressure half rho V squared. Rho is the density of air, V is the velocity of the moving vehicle. So this is general equation of fluid flow. So from Euler-Bernoulli's equations, so this part is called dynamic pressure, and this is a static pressure P naught, and this is the total or stagnation pressure. So this is the meaning of dynamic pressure. So from that concept, we have P plus half rho V square plus rho GH. This is potential energy. This is like a kinetic energy, that is dynamic pressure. And this is the total pressure, which is equals to constant. So this is a Bernoulli's equation. The dynamic pressure of air flows at subsonic. When we come to the word subsonic, that is our Mach is less than 1. Mach M is less than 1. That is called subsonic. Is insufficient to produce usable thrust. Therefore, ramjet and the scramjet requires assistance for their initial takeoff. You see, this is what I said. This ramjet and the scramjet needs some mechanisms during takeoff period to attain some specific speed level because they are good at Mach greater than 3. Less than Mach number 3, they are not efficient. So that until the vehicle reaches to Mach number 3, we use another mechanism to launch the vehicle. Then after, once the vehicle attains maximum speed to Mach, nearly to Mach 3, then the ramjet and the scramjet will start working. So this is the principle of ram and scramjet engines. In ramjet and the scramjet engines, the compressor of the regular jet is replaced by the diffuser at the front. So look, we'll see the constructional picture. As you we have compressor, is it? Now, instead of compressor, in the case of ramjet, we have diffuser. This is the diffuser. Okay. So the main function of diffuser is to reduce the velocity of the moving fluid. That is the incoming air. It reduces the velocity of incoming air and increase the pressure and the temperature. So whenever, if you see this construction, it makes high pressure here, okay, reduces velocity and creates high pressure and high temperature at this region. So that is the function of diffuser. And then nozzles are used to decrease pressure and increase the velocity of the fluid. That is exhaust fluid or that burned out fluid or eject gas. It increases its velocity. So that velocity and pressure are, when pressure increase, velocity decrease. Oil pressure decrease, velocity increase. So they are inversely proportional. Okay. So when air moving at hypersonic speed is forced to pass through the diffuser, okay, its dynamic pressure is converted into static pressure. The speed of the air flow decrease while the pressure and temperature increase. So this increased temperature and pressure aids the combustion of the mixture. Okay, so here an increased pressure and the temperature helps the ignition at the ignition chamber or combustion chamber here. So we have intake with high air pressure, atmospheric air, which comes through the diffuser, and high temperature and pressure will create here with low velocity, and the ignition with the use of fuel injectors, and the ignition spark plugs are on. So the combustion process will take place at the combustion chamber, and the hot gas are come out through the nozzle with high acceleration, with high velocity. Okay, so ejected through high velocity, then this is the way it works. So this is also the same principle it's talking about. Anyway, so Scramjet technology is extremely, sorry, this is not that. Inside the combustion chamber, the air is mixed with fuel. Look, and the spark plug helps ignite the mixture with propelling nozzles accelerating the exhaust stream to generate thrust. So that is what I am talking. So let's see, fuel and oxidizer and like katatalan, high pressure and temperature will develop in this, and that accelerates through the nozzle with high speed. So this is the principle of. So most of these sections are hot sections, and we call these sections are cold sections. At supersonic, at subsonic speed, subsonic speed of Mach. Sorry, this is supersonic speed. Yeah, it is Mach 2 is supersonic speed. The ramjet engine is active for flight while within the atmosphere, and therefore is produced by increasing the momentum of the air as it passes through the ramjet, as in the case of turbojet and turbofan engines. But with no compressor, with no turbine. In this case, there are no compressor, there are no turbine. So ramjet with subsonic combustions using hydrocarbon fuel have an upper speed limit of approximately 5 Mach. Look, ramjet with subsonic combustion and the ramjet with supersonic combustion የሚባሉ ሁለት አሉ. So this uses hydrocarbon fuels. There are many hydrocarbon fuels. We'll discuss what are those fuels, what are them, we can see. For example, hydrogen fuel is one of them. With hydrogen cooling rise at, if we use hydrogen cooling for the ramjet, it raises the speed to 16 Mach. This is very high Mach. Attaining this Mach by itself is difficult anyways. And when we come to ramjet with supersonic combustion, which are known as scramjet, we call them as scramjet, and have flown in still actually for experimental vehicles. It is not realized. So all ramjets depends on rocket booster or some other launch for being accelerated. Okay, so this shows what we have discussed all. Another one is Scramjet Engine. No? It is another more advanced of ramjet engine. The Scramjet engine is a supersonic combustion engine that has no compressor and the turbine also. Scramjet like compressor and turbine alone, and which attains a speed greater than Mach. It is efficient on a speed greater than Mach 5. So here is Scramjet engine. No? እዚህ ጋር ዲፉዘሩ ከዚህ ጀምሮ እስከ መጨረሻ ነው የሚሄደው. So ignition chamber have very limited areas.